Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. I'm the nerd Lust Daddy, and today we continue our series reviewing every North American live-action video game film adaptation theatrical release. We're down to our last 3 episodes in this series, as today we once again dive into the world of survival horror and review the film series Reboot, 2021's Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, chit, futter. This better not be another Paul W.S. Anderson film.
No, Pidds, total reboot. It's a new director.
Well, okay's then. This better be an improvement.
I hope so too, Pidds. Let's get into this one and find out. Now, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City released in North American theaters on November 24th, 2021. At the time, 28 games had been released in the series in combinations of mainline, spin-offs, and remakes. We'll stick with the mainline releases for comparison, and those are Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and Resident Evil Village. We're going to use Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 for comparison, as the film is an adaptation of both of them. Now, both games revolve around the pharmaceutical corporation Umbrella, moving into the town of Raccoon City and creating a secret underground lab there. There, they experiment with a highly contagious T-virus. It's a virus that can mutate living cells, causing the transformation of a living being into a biological weapon, and can be passed on to others. Some forms of transformations can create zombie-like humans or other mammals, while some can be more extreme, creating hulking superpowered creatures. In the first game, the Raccoon City Police Department sends its Alpha Division of the Special Forces Team STARS, consisting of members Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Albert Wesker, and helicopter pilot Brad Vickers, to investigate the disappearance of Bravo Team that had gone missing while investigating mysterious murders that had been happening along the outskirts of the town at the remote Spencer Mansion. Now, while investigating, Alpha Team ends up having to take refuge in this mysterious mansion. There, they begin to learn of Umbrella Corporation's potential involvement in what is happening and work together to try and figure out what's going on here and how they can stop Umbrella. Now, the second game takes place 2 months later in Raccoon City and involves RPD police officer Leon S. Kennedy on his first day of duty. He meets Claire Redfield, sister to Chris Redfield, who's in town searching for her brother, while the infestation caused by the T-virus is still raging within the city. They learn that Police Chief Brian Irons has been paid off by Umbrella to cover up the experiments they've been doing within the town. And while investigating the events surrounding Umbrella's involvement in this virus outbreak, they further learn that RPD member Albert Wesker has been secretly working for Umbrella in an attempt to acquire the work of Umbrella scientist William Burkett, who's the creator of the newly developed G-virus. Together they fight to try and stop Umbrella and put an end to their nefarious motives. Now, the film combines the plots of the first 2 games and treats them as if they are happening simultaneously. The RPD STARS Alpha Team, consisting of Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Albert Wesker, and Brad Vickers, head off to the Spencer Mansion to investigate what happened to Bravo Team, while Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield investigate RPD Police Department and its surrounding areas to discover what's happening within the city. The plots between the games and the film develop more or less the same, but with a few liberties taken. Overall, though, I was impressed by how close they stuck to the plot of both games, even when combining 2 different timelines into one. I'd say the plot gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of the plot?
Hawoo!
Alright, so what about setting and world representation? When it comes to a couple of the characters, I have to say the representation is bad, but I'll touch on them when we get to the characters section. Everyone else, though, does an admirable job. So let's then discuss the look and setting of the world. All of the monsters are quite accurate, and at times I was astonishingly impressed with the accuracy of the world. They make sure that they set the world within the 1990s, and it shows with nods to the technology of that era that will make anyone from that generation smile with recognition. They also include nods and references to key moments within the games that will give fans of the games a reason to smile as well. Outside of a couple character representation stumbles that, like I mentioned before, I was very impressed with the setting and world representation, so they get a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of them?
Hawoo!
Let's get into the characters, and as the norm, stick with the main characters from the games as well as those the plot centers around. Let's start with Brian Irons, played by Donald Logue, known for his roles in Sons of Anarchy and Grounded for Life. He takes on the role of the RPD police chief, and he does an admirable job here. While not portrayed exactly as in the second game, it's still a very good casting and one that I was able to enjoy. He gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of Chief Irons?
Hawoo!
Leon S. Kennedy, portrayed by Avon Yogia, known for his roles in mostly TV series such as Ghost Wars and Now Apocalypse. Portraying the iconic Leon S. Kennedy, he unfortunately fails. I don't think it's his fault though, and it's more the fault of the script. He's been written as a bumbling, incompetent, comedic relief character in a lot of ways instead of being portrayed as the confident and capable RPD recruit that he was in the games. This portrayal is so far off from the original character that I have to give it a chit, futter. Pidds, what did you think of Leon?
Chit, futter.
Jill Valentine, played by Hannah John Kamen, known for her roles in Ready Player One and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Taking on the role of another iconic character, she is an unfortunate travesty as well. She never really looks the role, nor does she fit the portrayal. This character is played as too cocky and doesn't even fit the mold of the original interpretation of the character. Another interpretation that is so far off that I have to give it a chit, futter. Pidds, what did you think of Jill?
Chit, futter.
Albert Wesker, portrayed by Tom Hopper, known for his roles in Black Sails and Game of Thrones. Taking on another iconic character here, I'd have to say the script does him justice. He comes off as strong and confident, as well as willing yet regretful accomplice to Umbrella's goals. While I'm not sure he would reach the cheesy delights that the actor from the WS films does, it still would have been nice to see what would have been done with this character. He gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of Wesker?
Hawoo!
William Birkin, played by Neil McDonough, known for his roles in Minority Report and the 2004 remake of Walking Tall. His portrayal of the inventor of the G-Virus is an admirable one. Seeking to find a cure to end man's suffering from diseases, he conveys the emotions of a man regretful of allowing himself to try and reach these goals by any means necessary, including aligning himself with Umbrella. He gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of Dr. Birkin?
Hawoo!
Claire Redfield, portrayed by Kea Scodolero, known for her roles in Clash of the Titans and The Maze Runner. Bringing this character to the screen is no small feat, but one that she takes on admirably. While I do not like her overall look due to some alterations, their character and attitude is spot on as a woman who will face fear at any cost to find her brother and figure out what is going on within Raccoon City. She gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of Claire?
Hawoo!
Chris Redfield, played by Robbie Amell, known for his roles in the TV series The Flash, as well as Upload. Taking on the character of Chris is not an easy one, but it is one that I think he pulls off very well. He comes off as dedicated to his duty, but still as a man open to questioning what is happening and not willing to blindly follow orders. He gets a hawoo from me. Pidds, what did you think of Chris?
Hawoo!
Let's get into our final verdicts. The plot is surprisingly accurate to what happens within the games, although there are some liberties taken. Setting and world representation are very impressive, despite some stumbles when it comes to character representation. Overall, the actors themselves do a very good job of portraying their characters, even if some of them were miscast and ill-costumed for the role. Let's see what the Pidds thinks first. Pidds, what did you think of Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City?
Hawoo!
I'm with you there, Pidds. Despite some missteps in casting and character representation, overall I enjoyed this film. There were even some moments when I smiled with delight as I realized the attention to detail and care they took in referencing the games. This one gets a 7s out of 10s from me. I've got to take some off for the poor casting and representation in a couple of areas, along with the very few diversions in the plot, but overall, I found this to be an entertaining adaptation. I think both fans of the game series as well as fans of action horror films will enjoy this one. Pidds and I want to thank you all for once again tuning into Vidiot Entertainment Studios for this episode of Vidiot Movie Reviews. If you enjoyed our video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share to show your support. And also, don't forget to check us out and subscribe on Twitch, as well as follow us on Twitter. Until next time, I'm the Nerd Lust Daddy, reminding you all to not be chit futters to each other. Body autonomy for all, reproductive rights for women, and peace, love, and happiness to all. Take us out, Pidds.
Thank yous all once again for watching. See yous next week.